Rabbi Nathan Davidovich speaking to you on behalf of the webyeshiva.org, speaking to you from Efrat, Israel. Excuse the mess behind me. We're just in the process of moving our residence from one floor to another, and my books aren't up yet. I'm going to talk about the special Shabbat of this week. And the special Shabbat is called Hachodesh. Now, we know we have been through already 3 previous special Shabbatot, where we read, in addition to the regular Torah reading, a specific talked about giving the money for the upkeep of the Beis Hamikdash, and that happened at the first of Adar, month of Adar. Then we talked about, after that we read Parshas Zachar, remembering Amalek to destroy evil. Then the next special Shabbat was Parshas Torah, about the red heifer, which from there we learned the concept of purifying ourselves to get closer to Hashem. And this week's special Parsha is Parsha Hachodesh. And Parsha Hachodesh says as follows. It says, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, God said to Moses and to Aaron, Be'eretz Mitzrayim, in the land of Egypt. God's talking to the Jewish people, talking to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt. And what does he say? Hachodesh hazeh lochem, going to be coming into this coming tomorrow, as a matter of fact, is Rosh Chodesh Nissan. Not tomorrow, it's Shabbat. This Shabbat is Chodesh Nissan. So this month shall be special to you. And way back at the beginning of the Torah, on the first sentence of the Torah, Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim v'ha'aretz, God created the heaven and the earth, Rashi asks the question, why does the Torah begin there? It should have begun with the very first commandment to the children of Israel. And what was the first commandment? Was this commandment that this month of Nissan, shall be the head of all months. There are many opportunities during the year that God gives us the opportunity to renew ourselves. For example, every Shabbat we have the opportunity to become a different person on a higher level, a higher spiritual level. So we have that opportunity throughout the year, but this particular time, the concept of renewal as set forth here in this Torah reading is mentioned in a very strange way, because as I read to you a minute ago, it says God spoke to them in the land of Egypt. Most other places, it doesn't say where God was located when he was talking to Moses and Aaron, or he was talking to the Jewish people. Why here? And what can we learn from that about how we can increase and improve our spirituality this day? First of all, the Davidovich points out that what was Mitzrayim? What was Egypt? Egypt was the headquarters of depravity. It is a place where the Jewish people had fallen to such a low level that it was almost impossible to rise above it. But yet, we see that God talked to the Jewish people in Egypt. Why? And Egypt was the symbol of darkness, teaching us that no matter how dark things are in one's life, Even if you fall into the highest depths, you still have the opportunity to renew yourself, and be a different person spiritually. Rahman said, Ein iyush ba'olam. There is no giving up. There's no abandonment of life. Everything is for a purpose. And we have the opportunity to renew ourselves. We see that a special power is given according to the Davidovich. Special power is given to Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, that no matter what the situation is, they're able to pull themselves out through the strength of their belief in God, the strength of Emunah. Now, when we talk about months, this will be the first of the months. We're talking about the lunar months. The Jewish calendar is one of lunar months. It's a 12-month calendar, but it is not 365 days, and therefore sometimes you add an extra month. As we did this year, this is now the second of the month of Adar. It says that the Jewish people are compared to the moon. Why is that? You look at the sun. I mean, don't stare directly into the sun, that's not safe, but looking at the sun never changes. It stays the same. It stays the same brightness, basically. Yes, there can be an eclipse, but that's an unusual thing. But generally, the sun stays the same. What about the moon? The moon is always changing. You go from a full moon, the moon is at its fullest, and then it starts shrinking and shrinking and shrinking until there's very little left. And then it looks like it's gone. And all of a sudden, you have a new moon, it starts appearing again. The Jew is always in a situation like the moon, changing every day, changing every moment. And the fact that when you look at the moon and you get to the end of the month, of the lunar month, and you can no longer see any part of the moon, you could compare that, and you could become too depressed. Think there's total darkness here. Total darkness. What am I going to do? Sometimes in our lives, people think that. They think, what can I do? There's no way out. There's no way out. What God has implanted in nature and in the moon and in the Jewish people is what the Davidovich refers to as kusta de chiyusa, the living spark of life. He compares it to planting a seed to grow something. When you plant the seed, before it starts to sprout, it completely dissolves and decays to almost nothing. And all that is left is this kusta de chiyusa, this spark of life. That is within us. And God is telling us that by accessing what God has given us, in fact, the light will shine again. You're not going to be in darkness forever. Even if you're in the darkest place that you can imagine, you're in the most desperate situation. If you only remember that, just hang on, have faith in God, and God will bring you out of this. You'll be able to be totally new person. Much more so in this month of Nissan, which is the month that the Jewish people were redeemed from Egypt, from the horrible exile, which was a slavery not only of the body but of the mind. They couldn't even think an independent thought. Not only were they redeemed, but this ability for redemption and for renewal follows us through every generation and is available today. today we can use this opportunity to renew ourselves. I bless us all to go into this month of Nissan with a spirit of totally spiritual renewal, recognizing that we can be better if we but try. Thank you for listening on behalf of the webyeshiva.org. I wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom.